because this was never contracted with any intention to be faithfully adhered to. Oh no, this was just dust in their eyes. So Richard Nixon retired to a place called Camp David. They normally do that. And spend the weekend probably drinking whiskey. And on Sunday, before the markets opened on Monday, declared, "We gave our word, but we don't have to keep it, you dum-dum." That's international relations. The finest product of modern Western civilization is you give your word, but you don't have to keep it. Part of the tradition, you know, the three levels of lies: you have great lies, and you've got 9/11. So, he said that the United States will not honor its obligation, its contractual obligation under international law. A contractual obligation under international law. He will not honor it. They take it up and they tore it to pieces. So then what's going to happen? Nothing. Since 1971, the United States just simply bought some more printing machines and bought some more ink and kept on printing more and more and more and more. So long as those dum-dums want the US dollar, we just print it for them. Yeah. You think Europe did not understand what Charles de Gaulle did? Do you think Europe did not understand how unfair the system was? Giving this advantage to the United States as the ruling state in the world, that's the role that money played. They understood it perfectly, but they did nothing about it. No, they spoke about it, but they did nothing about it, because they could do nothing about it. It's only when the moment comes in the historical process, when a day like a month comes to an end, or is coming to an end, only then would you see the controlled, incremental demolition of the US dollar. It's not happening by accident. No. This by design. Because a day like a month is now coming to an end. And the process of moving from stage to stage was one in which riba has played a central role. They don't teach the subject of riba this way. No one teaches the subject of riba this way. No. And of course, now that a day like a week is about to commence, a new ruling state has to emerge. The last of three, listen to the word, three messianic, from Messiah, three messianic ruling states. The first Pax Britannica, the second Pax Americana. This terminology is used by all diplomats, by all people in international affairs, strategic affairs, but they never delve beneath the language to try to understand a bigger picture. And now a third ruling state is like it has to emerge. And we say, and we've been saying it for 15 years now, and nobody seems to be hearing amongst the ulama. I don't know, they're very busy. Let me be guarded in my language, because in Perth they scolded me. But hello, you remember? We say it is Pax Judaica. We say it is Pax Judaica that is coming. Is Imran Hosein a prophet? Does he have angels coming and talk to him? Does he have a jinn who is informing him? No, you dum-dum! This is political analysis based on the Quran and the Hadith. It is so frustrating They would not do the homework to study this subject, and then they ask, is he a prophet? A third ruling state has to emerge. We are standing on the doorstep of that now. Israel already rules the United States, and the United States knows that. Everybody knows that. Israel controls what we call parliament. They call it the House of the Congress. The rest of the world calls it parliament. The Congress is comprised of two houses. One is the House of Representatives, and the other is the Senate. These two combined are called the Congress, the US Congress. In other countries they call it the Parliament. And United States Congress is controlled by the Zionists on behalf of Israel. It's an open secret. So if Israel controls the ruling state in the world, is it far-fetched to say that Israel will eventually replace the United States as the ruling state in the world? Huh? But if Israel is to replace the United States as the next ruling state in the world, it's not only with a dazzling display of military power, that is a part of the subject, but not for today. We're more concerned with the part concerning money. Israel will not only have to continue where the United States left off as a money lender of the world, and as the ruling currency in the world, but since the objective is to rule the world, you have to do more than simply rip them off. You have to be able to enslave them. And so you have to find a means of imposing financial slavery. If you refuse to bow, you'll be a slave. If you're willing to cooperate with me and fly to Washington and fly to Jerusalem, as the blue-eyed boy who used to be your foreign minister once upon a time, and then he ended in jail, we're going to be on good terms with you. Huh? We're going to be on good terms with you. You will be on the gravy train. The Prophet said so, that Dajjal will come to a people and they would follow him. And he'd cause the rain to fall, and their crops will grow. And the cattle will come back home in the evening with their humps filled high. The people will prosper. That's why Singapore is prospering. And then the Dajjal will come to another people and they would resist him. And he will stop the rain from falling. And the crops will not grow. And the cattle will come back home in the evening after grazing all day, lean and thin. That's poverty, that's destitution, that's Egypt. That's Egypt. Egypt is resisting. Egyptians are resisting. And so, in the third stage of the process, the control over money has to perform a function more than simply impoverishing people. In the third stage, you have to bring financial slavery upon people. And so Pax Judaica has a monetary component to it. The military one is a separate one. And we have said that it is money that you cannot see, money that you cannot touch. Who is going to accept money that he cannot see? Who is going to accept money that he cannot touch? Except someone who has the intellectual acumen of a donkey. But that's what's coming. It's electronic money, but they have a knack for finding nice words. to cover up the poison. So they took the word homosexuality, they gave it a shower, they put some perfume on it, and they transformed it into gay. They took the word money lender, they gave it a shower, they put some perfume onto it, and they call it banker. And so now, welcome to the cashless world. It sounds nice, sounds exciting. And all those dum-dums are getting hooked onto it. A cashless world. My gosh, this is progress. And so the slaves buy their own slavery. This is the ultimate success of all. Where you give your enemy a piece of rope, you teach him how to tie the knot. You give him a chair, you get him to tie the rope onto the bough of the tree. You tell him, stand up there, and you get him to put the rope around his own neck, and then you tell him, step out. And when he steps out and he finds himself now being choking to death, oh my gosh, this is what you did to me? Is that our state today? Is that the state of the scholars of Islam today? How many are they around the world today? How many are there who are ringing the bell, alarm bell? Mankind, O Ummah of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, watch it. This is the ultimate instrument of slavery. Do you know their names amongst the scholars of Islam? It was the farewell pilgrimage. And Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam went on Arafat, gave the khutbah. And at the end of the khutbah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down revelation. Al-yawm akmaltu lakum deenakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-islam deena. This day have I perfected for you your deen, completed my favor unto you, and I have ordained for you Islam as your deen. So we thought this was the end, nothing more after this, finish. And now we return to Medina. And there are only about 81 days left in the life of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and now revelation comes down. Yes, the last revelation was not that one. On the authority of Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, and recorded in the Sahih of Imam Bukhari, this is the last revelation. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا إن كنتم مؤمنين. O you who have faith in Allah, fear Allah, and give up what remains of your demand for riba. In kuntum mu'min, if you are indeed a people of faith. فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا, and if you don't do it, فَأَذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ, then take notice of a declaration of war from Allah and His Messenger. This is the harshest language that you'll find in the Quran. But most people don't have time for the Quran. So sad. And this is the last revelation. Why would Allah choose to send one more revelation after saying the job is finished? Why? It is to provoke you to think and to give you the mother of all warnings, that here lies the most deadliest poison of all. If this poison were to be injected into the body of the Ummah, you'd be paralyzed.